I'm Rachel, and small dogs give me the creeps.
Da-na-na, da-na-na-na.
Every day this month, I am watching a classic horror movie that I've never seen before. I look away during the scary parts, and I'm big enough to admit that. Movie number 11, Black Christmas, 1974. Sorry, Lacey Chabert. We open on a sorority house lit up with Christmas lights. A heavily breathing man climbs the lattice and enters the house. We only see his scenes from his point of view. Inside, there's a party. Then the party's over. Jess answers a call from an unknown creep. He's called before. Slightly drunk Barb takes the phone and insults him. The things he says I will not repeat here. Their house mother, Mrs. Mack, arrives with presents. Claire goes to her room to pack for the holidays. There's an incident. Mrs. Mack finds liquor in a book and a toilet tank. The next morning, Claire fails to meet her dad, so he goes to the sorority house. Jess tells her boyfriend Peter that she's pregnant and she wants to get an abortion. He's mad. Back at the house, Jess gets another call from the creep. They try to report Claire missing, but Sergeant Nash, who is a jerk, dismisses them. Mrs. Mack drinks liquor in a closet. Peter has a piano recital. It goes poorly. Another mother reports that her daughter Janice is missing. Drunk Barb talks to Claire's dad about turtles and is sent to bed. We meet Lieutenant Fuller, who sucks a little less than Sergeant Nash. He organizes a search party for Janice and Claire. Mrs. Mack drinks from a suitcase. Mrs. Mack hears her cat meowing and goes up to the attic. Afterwards, the breathing man throws a tantrum. The cops find Janice in the park. The creep calls the house again, so Jess calls 911. Peter proposes to Jess. She says no, and then tells her she can't get an abortion or else. He's fun. The police tap the sorority's phone and station a cop outside. Barb has an asthma attack. Jess greets some carolers who harmonize like angels. Seriously, like a philharmonic orchestra. Barb wakes up. The creep calls again. He makes reference to Jess's earlier conversation with Peter, which freaks her out. The call is too short to trace. Peter calls and begs Jess not to have an abortion. They can't trace that call either. Jess reminds herself that the creep can't be Peter because he was there when one of the calls happened. Phil goes into Barb's room. Is Phil short for Phyllis? Anyway, the creep calls again. This time, they can trace it. You know. The call is coming from inside the house. Dun dun dun. Nash defies Fuller's orders and tells Jess everything, aggressively. She goes into Barb's room. The breathing man. There's a lot of crazed shouting. Jess ends up in the basement. Peter finds her. More screaming, less crazed. The cops find Jess holding Peter's body. He's dead. The cops are confident Peter was the caller. Of course he wasn't. They do a remarkably bad job searching the house. The phone rings. These credits made me feel ill. Overall, I rate this movie 2 out of 5 stars. It was definitely set at Christmas, and there's nothing darker than an ambiguous ending. See you tomorrow for movie number 12. Also, give me your recommendations. What movies really freaked you out? Help me scare myself. Merry Christmas!